Micky moved low, one hand on the hilt of his sword, the other steadying his weight as he crept beside a half-toppled tree trunk. Oakley was already ahead, crouched near a collapsed guardrail, his fingers signaling a halt. Elli flanked left, boots soft in the wet dirt, spear held ready but low. The fog worked in their favor for now. They'd been following the raiders for nearly an hour, keeping just far enough behind to avoid detection, but close enough not to lose them. The 6 figures ahead moved confidently through the mist, too confidently. That's what worried Oakley. "Don't like this," he whispered, breath steaming in the cold air. "They're not hunting. They're herding." "Herding what?" Micky murmured, eyes narrowing. Oakley didn't answer. The terrain dipped, old concrete fractured into patches of earth and overgrowth. The world felt damp, quiet, dead almost, except for the occasional rustle ahead. Raiders moving, fast, intent. "They're leading us somewhere," Elli said, "or someone else." Micky adjusted his grip on the sword. "Then we see who." They moved again, slower this time, careful. Fog billowed in swirls as their steps disturbed it, ghostly shapes bleeding into and out of view. Old road signs leaned uselessly in the brush. A rusted-out car sat on its side like a broken shell. The raiders ahead finally stopped. Micky, Oakley, and Elli ducked into cover, behind stone, shrub, an old road barrier long since consumed by moss and time. From there they could see it, a clearing in the mist, wide and broken, silent. The raiders spread out, 6 shadows stretching into a half-circle, weapons drawn, positions locked. And there, at the center of the mist, stood Ryder and Callan. Ryder hadn't drawn yet, but his body was coiled like a wire pulled taut. Callan was close behind him, tense but alive. The trap had already been sprung. Micky's jaw clenched. "Shit." Elli's hand touched his shoulder, calming but firm. "We're too far to help, not yet." Oakley's eyes didn't leave the circle. "We watch, we wait, we move when it breaks." The fog held like a veil, the world on the edge of motion, but it wouldn't hold for long. The fog hugged the earth like a shroud, turning every jagged stump and half-buried ruin into a lurking shape. Micky kept close to the ground, every movement deliberate. Mud clung to his boots and knees, and the dampness soaked into his sleeves, though his arms, now bare from shoulder to wrist, flexed with tension and readiness. His hand never left the hilt of his sword. Ahead, Oakley pressed a hand to the wet dirt and motioned them down with a sharp jerk of his chin. They sank into silence behind a tangle of vines and shattered concrete. Beyond, the terrain dipped into what had once been a rest-stop parking lot, now swallowed by nature and ruin. Weeds pushed through cracks, and twisted metal signs stood like rusted tombstones. Shapes moved at the far end. Elli squinted through the mist. "There," she whispered. Micky followed her gaze. 6 raiders formed a loose semicircle. Their armor was mismatched, their gear worn, stained, and brutal. They weren't posturing. This was methodical, practiced. Their weapons hung low but ready. At their center stood a figure, tall and broad, with a wolfskin cloak thrown over his shoulders. His beard was braided, silver and dark, and a curved blade rested across his back. The leader, and facing him, alone, back straight, sword still sheathed, was Ryder. Micky's stomach turned cold. The sight of Ryder standing like that, silent and unflinching, while surrounded, it wasn't right. It felt like a setup. The kind Ryder would walk into, not because he didn't see it, but because he had no choice. Oakley leaned back, his voice barely more than breath. "They're not attacking. Yet." "He's talking to him," Elli muttered, her brow furrowed. "What's he doing?" From this distance, they couldn't hear the words, but they could see the tension. Ryder hadn't moved once. The raider leader spoke animatedly, pointing once toward the horizon, maybe back the way Ryder had come, then jabbing a finger to his own chest. Ryder tilted his head, a slow gesture, not in submission, but consideration, calculating. Then a shift. One of the raiders took a step closer. Another raised a hand, subtle, as if waiting for a signal. Oakley hissed, "They're gonna jump him." "No," Micky said, rising slightly. His voice was a low growl. "We jump first." Elli's eyes flicked to him. "You sure?" "Yeah." Oakley tightened his grip on the handle of his axe. "Then let's do it." They moved like shadows loosed from the fog, silent, swift, deadly. The mud no longer slowed them, it launched them forward, swords unsheathed, blades glinting like silver lightning in the dim light. Their muscles burned, lungs filled with cold air, every sound dulled behind the pulse pounding in their ears. The three of them broke from cover with a fury, war cries lost in the crash of boots and steel cutting through the haze.